Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Out of the Box. I'm May.
And I'm G.
And today we're going to be talking about what life is like for twins when we're about to separate and not have the joint identity that we always have growing up, or just the assumption that twins are always close and we can't ever live without each other.
Yeah.
Essentially.
A lot of people assume that when you're a twin, specifically more so identical, that because you've spent your entire life with your sister or sibling, it's always going to be the closest relationship you will ever have. And I think I resonate with that a little bit because I feel like we are literally the same person, just different personalities. But we're now in the life stage where we are going to be starting our own separate lives and how to navigate that, because obviously no one can tell the future.
Yeah.
But based off where we are right now and how we feel in our twin connection, I would say, is definitely different from when we were growing up. So let's get into it. Let's talk all things twins.
So just quick context of what twins is. It's just like we've been together since the womb.
Yeah.
Like we do everything together. We had classes together. We went to the same school all the way up through college. We still live together. We have a business together. There's so many things that we've done together our entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And it is kind of this like built-in best friend.
Yeah.
But we've said it multiple times where we necessarily don't feel like we have that best friend.
We're not each other's best friends.
Yeah, no. And it surprises people because people are just like, wait, so she's not your best friend? No, she is my friend, but not my best friend, you know? And we also shared rooms together. Like we did everything together.
Yeah, we had even like down to similar outfits, different colors. Obviously, a lot of twins will also understand like your color scheme. When you have two kids at the same age, you have to kind of pick your color. My color was obviously bright pink or purples, and May's was always more like blue or green or red. And those were our colors sticking to it. So when we went clothes shopping, we always picked out our twin color. When we had like our own plate and cups, we had our own color. So then we could kind of start that individuality, I think, of like being your own person. You can have your own things. And just the color scheme kind of helped with deciphering whose was whose.
Yeah.
So we weren't always sharing the same thing.
But what makes like twin relationships and bonds unique is that we share birthdays. We go through the same milestones mostly at the same time. Sometimes have shared identities.
Yeah.
Like a part of our identity is being a twin. A lot of people will be like, oh my God, you're making your full identity your twin. When it's really like, no, but she's actually part of my identity. Some of it. And as you grow up, you understand and learn how to grow away from that because being a twin isn't your full identity. But growing up, because you do spend so much time with each other, it is.
Yeah. It's definitely a part of my identity. When someone asks like, oh, what's a fun fact about you? I'm always like, oh, I'm a twin, because that is like the coolest thing I think about myself is the fact that I'm a twin. And it's the fact that I'm an identical twin. There's so many fraternal twins, there's triplets, there's quadruplets, whatever. But being identical is it's not rare, but it is one of the rarest twins like sets.
And what's cool is sometimes we have twin telepathy. I don't know if you guys know that or believe in it, but like, for instance, when we sometimes come out of different rooms, completely different rooms, and we're wearing the same exact thing or say the exact same thing. Yeah. It's weird. It's freaky at times, but it happens. And that's just kind of an example on like how strong the bond is. Even though you don't know it, it's always there.
Yeah.
But yeah, being a twin is just so weird.
When people ask you, like, how do you describe being a twin? What do you say?
It's weird because a part of me is just like, what does it feel like to have a sibling? It kind of that.
Yeah.
But again, you share the same birthday. You do the same things. You sometimes have the same friends. You live together all the time. And in G and I's case, we have a business together. We work together. We're co-workers. So a lot of it's intertwined. And I think we're getting to that area where we are separating and we are having our own lives. Like have my own personal life. G's starting dating again. We're not doing everything together anymore, which is, I like it. It's kind of freeing in a way. I think it surprises people too that we don't do everything together.
Yeah, when people are like, wait, where's your twin? Or why aren't you guys together? It makes us somewhat feel like we have to always be together in some way, and that it's wrong when we do something different. But it's like normal siblings. Like May said, like I can have my own life, you can have your own life. Obviously, we're very completely different people. So that's what's so interesting about being a twin too.
I agree. In your opinion, Mine was the first time you think we went through a separation phase. Like different friend groups. I would say
College.
a big massive one would be college. Yeah, I would say in high school we tried to have different friend groups because freshman year orientation, we weren't in the same class or orientation group. We told ourselves we need to have different friends because we've been going to private school for so long. It's small community. There's not really many chances to have your own friends.
No.
And so high school, because it was a little bit bigger, we're like, okay, maybe this is the time we can have our separate friends.
Yeah.
But it didn't turn out that way. Our friend groups kind of just mashed into one big friend group.
Yeah. Well, I even remember like at orientation freshman year, me and you talked about it before going into school saying like, you know what, we're not going to talk to each other today. We're going to push ourselves to not hang around with each other, but also just make your own friends, be your own self. And then if people are like, oh, you have a twin, right? Then that can come into be like, oh yeah, I do. She's actually like in this class too. But we did talk prior to freshman orientation about not sitting near each other, not looking at each other, not talking to each other.
Trying to stay away from each other, actually.
Yeah. And finding your own first little like bit of friends.
Yeah.
And then, like May said, eventually over time, our friends just kind of became one big group.
And what's funny with Jay and I is with our interests.
Yeah.
It's actually like in high school, they kind of were similar because we did join the same teams, sports teams. But as high school kept going, you found hobbies that you liked and interests you like that I don't like. So for example, yoga. You love going to yoga. You continue to go to yoga. I don't.
Yeah.
So it's like having that separation time where you go off and do your class. I'm here or I'm doing something else. But like it's nice to have a break. I know a lot of twins that don't like that. Or they need to do the same exact thing every single day just because they're twins doing it. Whereas in you and I, it's okay if we don't do anything. Like I go on trips by myself. You stay back. You're going to go to a bachelorette party. I'm not going to be there. Like, it's nice to have our own life.
Yeah. Or like even like May said, like with the bachelorette thing, it's same friend group. May was just not going to be a part of the bachelorette trip just because one, we need someone to stay at the house with all the pets. And then also, I think, is Miranda also going to be here?
I don't know.
So like maybe Miranda might fly in and you guys will have like the full weekend to yourselves. So
we are on pet duty.
Yeah. So, and May chose that for herself. I didn't tell her like, hey, this is a me thing. I want to go to the bachelorette. I think it was more once we kind of deciphered on if you were a bridesmaid or not, that you wouldn't be going to the bachelorette.
And then a lot of people ask us, because we're twins, if we have the same career paths.
Wow.
When we were in school, did we have the same degrees or career paths? And I will say yes, just because we grew up in a medical family.
I don't want to say the same career path because we had different focuses.
Okay, yeah.
I want to stay in the medical field. Medical field was definitely where we both wanted to be.
Yeah. Has there been a point where you felt like we weren't a package deal anymore? Like growing up where it's like, oh, if I come, my twin has to come. Or like, so you want to talk to me, you talk to her too. Type of thing.
I would say like in either high school sometimes, but it was very rare where I would do something and you never did, unless you were sick or you just didn't like the activity. But I think once we moved off to college, that was a huge separation where you had your own major, I had my own major. We made our own friend groups. My friend groups would do something and you wouldn't go. I wouldn't go with you and your friend groups. So I think like in college, that's like the major part where me and you kind of decided that we were going to have our own separate life.
Yeah.
Or like, of course, friends would overmingle and I would be friends with some of your friends and you would vice versa be friends with mine. But I was never close like you were close to your friends and vice versa.
Yeah, I agree. I think college was the very big, huge event that made us have to be more independent.
Yeah.
Because we weren't in the same degree. We were not in the same classes. Our classes never even overlapped, really. And we couldn't even study together.
Yeah. May and I had very different majors, so we weren't really having the same daily schedule in general. And when we did cross paths, it was very short.
Yeah.
Like we were not sitting in the library for hours together. Maybe like 45 minutes because the other one was rushing to the next class or something like that.
So let's move on to how we're going to handle once I move out or you move out or we both move out at the same time.
Yeah.
How we're going to handle that. People are wondering, are we still going to work together? Are we still going to have this podcast? What's our relationship going to look like? You want to explain like kind of what we've been talking about or how we think it's going to go?
Yeah, May and I, this was always a part of our discussions after college because we knew we were going to roommate for a while. And then we kind of ended up getting our pets. So that kind of connects us now for the next, I want to say like 10 to maybe 15 years because our dogs will be
Dogs.
our dogs.
Yeah.
And so like, I'm not going to take full custody of both of them. You're not going to do that. We're not going to split them up anyway. So that is something that will forever like connect us for the next at least 10 to 15 years. And then when we were talking about like you moving out or me moving out, I know we talked about whoever has financially like in a better place to move out first would move out first. And because we have a great house now, the dogs need to stay here because we have a backyard. Unless you move to a place with a backyard. Or I do.
Yeah.
But from the looks of it, May is going to be moving out before me unless I decide one day that I'm done and I need to move.
Yeah.
But that I don't see that ever happening.
How do you think we're going to cope with I don't know if it's emotional and physical distance, but I know physical distance. Emotional, because our parents taught us more independence other than like some other twins. We are independent. We can live separate from each other. So I don't think it's going to be emotionally tolling that much.
No, it's going to be weird.
It's going to be weird because we are so used to like being with each other all the time. But I also think that's why we bicker so much. Is because we're together all the time.
Yeah.
But the physical distance, I'm not leaving Seattle.
Yeah.
She's not leaving
We
Seattle.
talked about how we need to stay one just for the business. We understand that the business could also work if you wanted to move to different states. But we both kind of, in general, love Seattle and want to stay in Seattle.
Yeah. So we always knew that we wouldn't be leaving Seattle. So we knew that we'd always be within the same city.
Yeah.
Maybe not living right next to each other, but definitely drivable distance.
Yeah.
Or walking. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think physically we're going to get used to it. I think we're going to make our own different routines at our own houses.
Yeah.
But because we work together, we'll be together from 8 to 4. Yeah, whatever.
It'll be like a normal work day where you wake up, you go to work, and you leave. And I think that is what is going to also help our relationship, I think wise, but also just our sibling relationship because we all need our own time sometimes. And because we're roommates, we don't get that right now. Other than like, obviously you get your own room, whatever, but being able to leave a place and then come back to it.
Yeah.
And I'm not leaving with you.
Do you think you're going to enjoy it a lot more?
I don't know. It depends if I'm still literally single. If I'm single and alone, I'm not going to know what to do. But I feel like I'm also very confident in myself that I could live alone. And I've always wanted to know what that would feel like.
Oh, so you want to live alone?
Kind of like I feel like everybody needs like a year or two alone.
Yeah, that's
just
true.
To see like, am I the problem?
You kind of had a taste of it in college though, when we were living in the dorms.
Yeah.
And your roommate moved out, something happened, but you had a room to yourself for a semester or something.
Yeah, no. So yeah, basically I had my dorm for half a semester alone because I was an interim roommate. So my other roommate was studying abroad and she would be back later. So yeah, I did feel it. And I did like having like the sense of full control of like my environment at home. So I did enjoy that. So, but it would be interesting to actually have like my own house.
Yeah, I'm interested and excited to see what
or apartment
life is going to be like, our different routines. Yeah, when we both move out of here, because we'll have to find our own routine separately in a different area, but then also balance our work life together.
Yeah. Why do I have a feeling that we would still have similar schedules? Just you would be doing it at your house and I would be doing it at my
because
house.
I think that's spot on.
And that doesn't mean like we're never going to text through the day because we are going to text through the day. Like,
well, also I feel like I'm going to be over at your house during the day. Yeah, every day, just because one, I want to be, work needs that.
Yeah.
But two, my dogs are there.
Yeah.
Like I need my dogs.
Yeah.
So that's also why I don't see myself leaving Seattle.
I don't even want to leave Seattle.
Also, there's people that ask us, would we ever separate the dogs? Like you take a dog, I take a dog.
No.
Answer is no, just because they're bonded together already. And I think it would be cruel or mean of us to separate them.
Yeah.
Because they have that bond already. And so we agreed on it. Most likely G will be having them. But again, like she said earlier, she doesn't get full custody.
No.
They're still my dogs too. I still bought them.
It's just the place or house they're staying in is going to stay the same unless you have a backyard as well.
Well, we mentioned it where like if we both happen to move into an area with a backyard, we do 2 weeks your place, 2 weeks my place or something and switch and give the other person a break sometimes. Or like what's nice is if you go on vacation and the dogs need a place to stay, they will come over to mine. Like they won't ever be in a new environment just because you and I are separated.
Yeah.
They're always covered. We had to definitely talk about that.
Exactly.
So I guess we kind of already went over it, but do you think it's going to be hard to transition into that mindset of, hey, we're work and business partners, and then we can also be sisters outside of work, but not be together?
I don't personally think it's going to change much from now, except for the fact that like when I either go to bed, like my night routine, or having dinner or waking up in the morning and doing a morning routine, like you're not going to be in the house.
No.
So like that might feel weird, but I mean, I always know, and you always know that you can always text me or call me. And I personally love the fact that I could have my own space.
No, me too.
So I'm excited to see Brandon maybe give me a week alone and I'll tell you if I'm depressed or not.
Watch it come over and just be like, guys, I need some type of human interaction.
Literally. But as of right now, I think it would be good. I don't think I would be stressed out about living alone.
I think it will make our sibling relationship better. Just because we aren't around each other as much and we can actually like, I don't know how to say this, but like when it comes to twins and relationships, you kind of, when you get older, you have a tolerance of it. And then when you get past that thresh, like you start bickering.
It's just I think it's just because we know each other so well. And we know like, I know you like the back of my hand.
No, I know. And so G's literally the only person that could piss me off in 0.01 seconds.
No, yeah.
It's because she knows exactly what button to push right then and there. And same here. But I think that just shows how strong the bonds are between twins because you literally have known this person your entire life.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird.
It's going to be weird, but I think I'm more excited for the future.
For those that ask you, I wish I was a twin or like, how is it being a twin?
Yeah.
What do you say to them? Because people always tell me, I wish I had a twin. And I'm like, are you sure? Because you go through so many things together that it can get annoying.
Yeah. I feel like if you're very close in age with your sibling, that is pretty much how we feel. Being twins, the only thing that separates twins from just very close in age siblings is the fact that we share a birthday, like May said in the beginning, and that there might be a little bit stronger bond because innately we were literally in the same womb. So like we went through literally everything together. And I am, and you are vice versa, are the one person that knows exactly how it feels.
Yeah, it's so weird to talk about the twins and the twin bonding relationship with people who are not twins.
Yeah.
Because people do get caught off guard when we say it's just like having a sibling, just your same age.
Yeah.
Because everyone assumes it's like your best friend. You get to do everything together. It's all la-di-da. No, it's siblings. You're still a sibling.
Yeah.
You still know how to piss each other off.
Yeah.
You still bicker and fight.
I think the best way to like explain it is that, you have a best friend for life, but also, when you travel with a friend and that can ruin a relationship sometimes, that's how it feels when we're like butting heads.
But as also know
each other too much.
Yeah, but we also know that like we never ruin our relationship from anything that you're.
Well, no, but when you travel with a friend and you're like, this is going to be great. And then in the middle, you're like, okay, I need this to be done.
Or like I need space.
Yeah. That's how sometimes it feels. But that's like the closest experience that like most people could imagine or have gone through.
Yeah.
Of like traveling with someone, being with them for a long time and then just getting annoyed and then wanting your own space.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's literally how it is.
It's just like a forever roommate.
Yeah. Yeah, you share everything. You
go through
everything together.
Huge milestones together. There's like nothing that's just yours, essentially.
Yeah. Unless you
bought it yourself.
You bought it yourself or you got an academic award that the other person didn't.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally the difference.
I also think as you grow up, you don't have as much competition between you two. Growing up, we had to always like, if you did it, okay, well, I have to do it. And I think that comes with the independence part. When you start to separate, you realize you don't have to do that.
Don't get me wrong. We're still very competitive.
Oh,
but yeah. It has decreased where I'm just like, I don't care, May. Like, I really don't. but internally there might still be that like, well, I could have won that one, you know?
I think it's always going
to be like that. Because it's always like growing up, you're pinned against each other.
Are you excited about one certain thing that's going to be coming up in our lives? Like when we're separated. So let's say, for example, whoever has the first kid, like, are you excited for that part? Like being an aunt or technically a second mom?
I think I'm excited more than to see like you be a mom in general. I don't think I'm excited to the fact where like you're gonna call me and be like, this was the worst mistake ever. Like, come and get your niece. But I think I'm more excited about that. I'm interested to see how your attention is gonna like prioritize, because I know when you were dating, but also like just in life, like me and you were like dating, like relationship wise, where all the attention would go either to like what like I'm doing, our relationship, making sure it's not like there's not too much tension there. So like the attention will go away from me to obviously like now it's to Miranda and now it's going to be to your future family. So like if I'm still, you know, single and alone and depressed over here, that's going to feel weird, you know, because I'm so used to having someone at least pay attention to me, at least at some point of the day. So like, but do you feel that is like, if I have a kid too, my attention isn't going to always be like,
no, I
pick up the phone because May's calling me, you know?
No, I think it's weird.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very weird. But like, I've seen so many videos of twins having like, one of them is having a kid. Yeah. And the other one is just like, they try to trick the kid essentially. Or it's like, if the kid won't do it for that actual parent, the twin will come in and like act like the real parent and then they'll do it. Yeah, I think we're gonna have a blast getting that.
I think our kids are just gonna be confused on who's the real mom and who's the aunt.
Yeah.
For a while, until you realize that like, oh, like there's two moms.
And it's also gonna confuse them that they're related.
That too.
Like genetically.
I mean, I don't think that's the first thing I'm gonna tell them. I don't like they're gonna be cousins in general, so they're related by that. But if they really come back home once and like one time and be like, I learned this in science, like, are we genetically the same? And I'll be like, yeah, you're half siblings because your mom and your aunt are identical twins.
Yeah.
So I think that will be interesting to tell our kids that. But I think I'm just more excited to see what's going to come.
Me too.
I'm not nervous.
Unless
I'm still fucking single. And then I'm going to be nervous.
See, I was excited for like what life is going to be like when we do separate even more, because we've separated a lot since college already. Yeah, and have been living our own lives, but like physically being somewhere different and not having to be around like you 24/7.
Yeah,
is going to feel very weird.
It's going to feel weird, but I feel like you will have your attention somewhere else. So like maybe the only time you would ever think, oh, this is weird is when we're not together.
Yeah.
But then you have Miranda, you will have your like own things you're going to do. Me, if I'm still single and alone at home, I have literally all the time to think about myself and where I am not. So like, it just depends.
Yeah, but no, I'm excited for that. We're very different from other twins though. Yeah. Where we're okay being separate from each other. I actually frankly enjoy it. Yeah. Whereas in others despise it. But that's not Jay and I. And if you met us in real life or in person, you could probably see that.
Yeah.
It's nice that like we're twins, but we also can be independent.
And that's just the way we were raised.
Yeah. So if you have twins, make sure you can give them some independency as young kids. So then when they grow up, they know it can be normal to be away from their twin.
Yeah. It's always nice to know that you can do things on your own, but then also have that like sister right next to you doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we kind of were parallel in life until you got into a serious relationship. And then I'm just like, la-di-da over here.
Yeah, it literally went parallel and then.
Yeah. Which is totally fine.
Yeah.
Because that's how life is supposed to work. You're supposed to like go on these like knolls and hills and your own path in life. So yeah, I think we're doing it right. There's no right answer anyway to this too.
Yeah, no, there's.
It's just coming from our own experience. But if you're also a twin and you are watching this, let us know how you guys feel. If you're grown-ups, if you're in high school or just starting out, or if you have kids yourself that are identical twins or fraternal, like how are they super close? Are they still living in the same area? Do they talk to each other every day? Like, just let us know, because we're gonna find out when we find out.
I'm excited for it all, bro.
I am too. But I'm also nervous, just like everybody else, when they're like in their 20s trying to figure out life.
Oh, yeah, no.
So we're all in the same boat. We don't know what the hell we're doing. And yeah, that was pretty much
what we have. We're both super excited for what life is gonna bring, I guess, and we're just riding the wave at the moment. But yeah, that's all we have. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, be kind to others, be happy yourself. I'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.